Hey guys, so I have the big light on in here because it looks a lot better, and also because I don't have any books to actually hold up, and I feel so bad about it, and I'm sorry if you can see in the background, a lot of my books are gone. I still have them, don't worry. They're just packed up in boxes, and all the boxes are in the living room because we are moving to Austin like in a couple weeks. So I've been boxing up all my books and stuff. The ones that are still on the shelf are mainly like ones that I haven't read yet that I want to read like sooner rather than later. So these are books that I might be reading like before I go, because there's 2 readathon. Well, actually, never mind. That one doesn't have until we're already in Austin. But Tome Topple starts on August 4th and goes to August 17th. We're not leaving until August 13th. So most of the readathon I'm still going to be here. So I've kept a bunch of like my big tome books out, like the Mistborn trilogy. Those are still out. Black Prism is still out. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, the last 2 books in that are still out. You know, just stuff like that. So those are still out. And then, of course, I never box up my Harry Potter books when I move. I always just put them in the passenger floorboard with me because I am ridiculous. And, yeah, basically I'm ridiculous. And Harry Potter's my favorite thing, so it comes with me. My cat will be on the passenger seat itself. And then, like I said, all my Harry Potter stuff will be on the floorboard, so that I can easily get to it. And then the rest of the stuff is basically going to go in a trailer that we have. So, yeah, that's what's going to happen. So, yeah, I am moving. So I'm sorry that my background does not look like it normally does. Also, you're going to notice the light is different. My fairy lights broke, which was fun. And so, actually, when I was, like, packing stuff up, I found those lights in my closet when I was cleaning it out, trying to get stuff ready or whatever. And so then my fairy lights broke, and I was like, oh, hey, I wonder if I could get these to work. So for right now, they're just there to kind of help give me light, because I never have these big lights on. I always just have my lamp and then those lights, because the light bugs my eyes. I'm really sensitive to light, so I hate this right now, but I'm gonna power through for you guys. And because I feel really bad that I don't have any books to hold up, because all the books that I have read are packed away, except for my Harry Potter books, and I didn't read any of those this month, so I'm sorry. Okay, anyway, we're going to get into the wrap-up. I'll try to show you on my phone the covers, if it'll work. But anyway, the first thing I read this month was The Diviners by Libba Bray. I was buddy reading this with Kristen and Danielle, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I really like the story, and I love the 1920s aspect and all the prohibition and like just all the stuff like that. And I'm gonna pronounce her name wrong, I promise, but Theta, she's my heart and my soul. And also I love Henry, which we'll talk about Henry later on another book. I also read the sequel. But yeah, so I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. This is what it looks like. Oh, look, it's actually showing up. So yeah, that was the first thing I read this month. The next thing I read was Taj Hart's Tolstoy by Catherine Ormsby. Yeah. And this was so good. So I went into my library one day, and I went to the new arrivals thing, and they had it on there, and I was freaking out, because I had been wanting to read this so bad, but I didn't have the money to buy it, and then my library had it, and I grabbed it so quickly, and I was so excited, and I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was so good. It's about this girl, and she really loves the author Leo Tolstoy, and Anna Karenina is like her favorite novel, and so she starts this web series with her friends on YouTube about basically kind of an adaptation of Anna Karenina, and it's extremely hilarious. And I really like all the thing, learning about their production and behind the scenes stuff, because she's the director. She doesn't actually act in it, but she's the director, and she's really good at it. But anyway, they end up getting famous overnight because this one big vlogger recognizes them and, like, leaves their links or whatever, and so then everybody, like, goes there, and then it's a whole big thing, and they end up getting nominated for, like, this award. So yeah, it's just a crazy story. Also, the main character is asexual, and it was actually my first time reading about an asexual character, and I loved it. And I am not asexual, but I have read reviews from ace people, and they have said that it is a very good rep and everything. So I love this story. I think it's fantastic. The main character is beautiful. Like, I just love, because she's like a legit fangirl, and I love any kind of book that has, like, a fangirl that's like even if they're not a fangirl about the same thing. Like, I have never read a book by Leo Tolstoy, but just how passionate she was about it, that's what I love. I love when a main character is, like, so passionate, because then I can relate to them, because no one is, like, I love it, because I'm so passionate about my fandoms. So, yeah, it just makes me happy. So, I thought that was a really good book, and everybody should go read it. The next book I read, and I'm so sorry I don't have it to hold up to show you, but I read God's Grave by J. Kristoff this month. My friend Kristen, who I buddy read stuff with, like I was talking about, she is a librarian, and she went to this ALAC event or whatever, and she asked us, she was like, are there any arcs you want me to look out for you guys? And I was just like, God's Grave by J. Kristoff. And she, like, messages me the next day, and it's like, hey, I got your arc. And I was like, you're kidding. I was freaking out. I was like, there's no freaking way. And then she sent it to me, and I literally got it, like, a few days later, and I was so happy. You guys don't understand. When it came in the mail, like, I'd had a shitty day at work, and I checked the mail, there was a package for me, and it was from Kristen. I opened it up, and God's Grave was in there, and I was so happy. Such a good day. Such a good day. I'm just so thankful and so happy that I was able to get that arc, and Kristen is the best. I'm dying. I even did a Goodreads review, which I never write reviews, so yeah. Oh, ALA event. Okay, that's what it was called. But it was so good. I gave it a 5 out of 5, obviously, and I'm so excited for the third book, which won't be coming out for more than a year, and sad face. Okay, the next book I read was The Elite by Kira Cass. I was getting these from Overdrive, the digital library, and I've just been, reading them. They're interesting. So I gave this a 4 out of 5, and yeah, I enjoyed it. Like, they're fun. They're definitely not, like, the greatest thing ever, but they're fun, and they're quick, and they're entertaining, and that's really what they're meant to be, so works out. And then the next book I read was The Great Hunt by Wendy Higgins. So many people love this book, especially Murphy. She talks about it all the time in, like, every video. And then I saw that my library had it, and I grabbed it one day, and I read it, and it was so good. And I have The Great Pursuit over in my library stack over there, and I'm going to read that for Tome Topple, because The Great Pursuit is 512 pages, so it'll count for Tome Topple. But this one was 416 pages, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's about, like, this princess, and she ends up having to, basically, for her family and stuff, there's this beast that's, like, killing all of the villagers and, like, people in the kingdom and stuff, and so her father offers up her hand in marriage to whatever hunter kills the beast. So, yeah. The next book I read, it's taking a minute to load, I'm sorry. Okay, the next one I read was The One by Kira Cass. Sorry, it's a white cover, so it's making it harder. Again, 4 out of 5. Really enjoyed it. I'm happy that I finished the trilogy part of the series. I know that there's those other 2 books, which I actually have the Air checked out from the library right now, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it before we leave, just because, like I said, we leave in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to be participating in Tome Topple, and none of those count for tomes, and there's only 3 days until Tome Topple starts, so I really do not have the time, because I'm mainly focusing on, right now I'm reading How to Make a Wish, which is another book I got from the library. I'm like 100-something pages in, so I'm going to finish the last 200 pages today, and then I want to start the last August, and I want to read that before we go, and then of course I want to read The Great Pursuit, and then there's also Crown of Wishes and Manners and Mutiny. So I have a lot going on. Not like I don't think that the library up there will have these, because they probably will, so that's why I'm not too worried about like the Air and stuff. But like I really want to read The Great Pursuit. I really want to read finish How to Make a Wish, which obviously that's going to happen today. And then I really want to read Manners and Mutiny, just because I want to, because it's the last book in the Finishing School series, and I want to finish that. And I also really want to read The Last August, because I've been waiting forever. So yeah. But we'll see how that goes. Oh man, okay. The next book I read was The Call by Peter O'Golin. I'm so sorry, I probably pronounced that all kinds wrong. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. It was kind of just meh. Like, it was fast-paced, and I read it pretty quickly, I think, but I don't know, I didn't really care. Like, it was just kind of a meh book. I do plan to, like, continue with the series. I will read the next book just because I'm curious as to what is going to happen, but it wasn't, like, phenomenal or anything. It was just kind of, like, meh, but it was an okay book. I still enjoyed reading it. It just wasn't, like, up there with the other books I read. The next book I read, and you guys are going to freak out because I've tried to read this book so many times. I finally powered through and read the whole thing. The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Audier. So yeah, I've tried to read this book like 3 separate times, and I never, ever, ever get past like the first 100 pages. But then I finally was able to power through, and I read it, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 just because of how hard it was for me to actually get into it and finish it for so long. I enjoyed it. It was alright. I will read The Rose and the Dagger just because I want to know what happens. But yeah, also the other day I tried to read Flame in the Mist by Renee Audier. I wasn't liking it. So I'm thinking maybe she's just not for me? I don't know. We will see. But yeah. The next book I read was... Why did this take forever to load? Waistcoats and Weaponry by Gail Carriger, the 3rd book in the Finishing School series. I gave it a 4 out of 5, and I'm excited to continue on because it is so good. So good. And then I read this little graphic novel called Drama by Renee Telgemeier, or however you say that. I'm sorry, I pronounced that wrong, I'm sure. I gave it a 4 out of 5. It was super enjoyable and cute, and the artwork was, like, really good. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's kind of just a typical kind of school drama about this girl who really loves theater and, you know, kind of falling for the wrong guy or whatever, but it's really cute. I really liked it. And it's got, like, good diversity in it. Like, it packs a bunch into those 288 pages, and I think everybody should go read it, because I think it just, I don't know, the way it deals with the topics, it makes it seem like it's, like, I can't formulate the right words, but it just does a really good job at reinforcing the idea that just because someone is gay or something like that, that's not like a defining characteristic of them. That's just a part of who they are. But there's so much more to a person. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it, and I think everybody should go read it. Okay, I'm done. But I also got that one from my digital library. A lot of these I got from the library, and then a lot of them, and then the rest are packed up. I'm so sorry. I feel so bad because I hate when I don't have the books, which is not very, I mean, usually if I have got them from the library, but I normally have my books that I own, but not right now because I'm packing and I hate myself. The next month we will be at the new house and all my stuff should be unpacked, so it'll be okay then. Next book I read, Layer of Dreams by Libba Bray. Again, me and Kristen read this one together. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 again. Henry is my heart and soul. I love him. And, like, me and Kristen called some of the shit that went down in this book. I was like, I fucking knew it. I was so passionate about it. I was like, oh my god, I knew it. And I was right. And it was crazy. So, yeah. But I really, really enjoyed this. I really can't tell you any specifics because it's a spoiler. But so good. And I'm so excited that the third one is coming out in October. And I can't wait to get it and read it and all of the things. It's going to be great. So, yeah. The next book I read was Top 8 by Katie Finn. And I heard about this book from Maddie and B over on Heartful of Books. B read it one summer, and she was, like, talking about the whole series, and I found a really cheap copy on Amazon Marketplace, and I had some Amazon credit, so I used that for that, and I got it, and I read it, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it, and I really loved, like, the social networking aspect of it, because I'm really into that type of thing. Like, Catfish is, like, one of my favorite shows. Like, I really love the whole, like, social network kind of thing going into stuff, so I enjoyed it, but like I said, but there were some times where I was just like, ugh, because it's really cringeworthy, because it's an older book. It was published in 2008, and it's just kind of, you know, one of those, and it kind of reminds you of, like, how stupid people were at that age, and you're just kind of like, ugh, and you're, like, cringing, so, yeah. The next book I read was The Battle Mage by Taryn Mathero, the third book in the Summoner series, which it's the last book for Fletcher and them, but there's going to be another book coming out, but that book is about Articus, so it's like a prequel because it's about him when he was in school at Vokins, which he is one of Fletcher's teachers. So that's what that is. I was really confused because people were like, oh, I can't wait for the next one to come out. And I was like, wait, I thought this was a trilogy. I thought it was done. And then I went and did some research, and I was like, oh, because the next book is about Articus, like, when he went to school and stuff. So that's going to be really good. I am getting so tired. I'm so sorry this is so long. I read too many books a month. Oh, I read 21 books this month. By the way, forgot to tell you the number at the beginning. 21! Yes! Giant Days by John Allison, Lissa Trimman, and Whitney Coggar. I read the first volume. And I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I really loved the characters in this, and I love their friendship, and it's just so precious. And it reminds me of when I was in college living in the dorms. Like, I'm still in college, but, like, obviously I don't live in dorms anymore or whatever. But it reminds me of when I was at my college in Santa Fe. And I just kind of makes me want to cry because I miss my friends. But, yeah. The next book I read was The Seafarers Kiss by Julie Ember. I gave this a 4 out of 5. I really love the twist on the Little Mermaid tale. And I love, we kind of get, like, the main character's name is Ursula, so you kind of get a, you know, Ursula retelling thing, and it's really good, and it's got a female-female romance, and I love how that was done, and yeah, it was really, really good. The next book I read was Lumberjanes by Noelle Stevenson, Shannon Waters, Grace Ellis, Brooke A. Allen, and Cheyenne Flores. And and I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was a really cute volume. It was just like they were trying to like earn this badge for telling scary stories around the campfire, is basically what the entire thing was about. So everybody just kind of like told a scary story. Some of them weren't scary. Some of them, honestly, none of them were really scary, but some of them were better than others. So yeah. And then the next thing I read was Black Butler Volume 1 by people I cannot pronounce their name. Yana Topeshu and Tomo Kirma. I'm sorry. I feel so bad. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited. Like, I want to read all of them. My library finally got the first volume in. They've always had like 4, 5, 6, 7 volume in, but they've never had the first volume in. I'm just like, what the f-? And so then I finally went in there the other day and I was like, oh, that's volume 1. And I got so excited. And I'm like, I'm in love with Sebastian. Like, I would legit marry Sebastian. Like, no fucking lie. I would marry Sebastian tomorrow. He is a perfect, I was about to say perfect human being, but he's not a human being. He's a perfect butler. Oh, man, it's so good. It's so good. There's a point in the first volume where someone says something to him and he's like, well, I'm one hell of a butler. And, like, when you read it, like, you'll get why it's so funny. But it's so funny. It's so good. The next book I read, please don't hate me, because I'm probably about to have an unpopular opinion, so please don't hate me. Okay. The Princess Bride by William Goldman, which it's not actually by him. He just, like, edited it. It's actually by this guy named Morgenstern. But yeah. Anyway, I read it. I gave it a 3 out of 5. I didn't enjoy it. Like, I mean, okay. I did enjoy it somewhat. I enjoyed, like, Montoya, and I enjoyed Physique, and I even enjoyed, Wesley, but I fucking hated Buttercup with a passion. Like, oh my god, I hated her so much. I hated her so much. And I just, the book pissed me off because of how abrupt certain things were, and just like how it was structured, which probably might have been because of how William Goldman edited it, because he edited out a lot of stuff, and he like says he edited out a lot of stuff, like he tells you. And some of it I understand why he edited out, because nobody would want to read those parts, but some stuff I think he edited out and it took away from the story, because I think it took away from the reader's understanding of stuff. So I think he edited out some stuff that should have stayed in, and if it had, I feel like maybe I would have had a better enjoyment of it. So yeah, that's pretty much how that goes. I do want to watch the movie, and I'm hoping I'll like that better, because I think it'll translate really well to a movie, and I think I'll enjoy it more, because there won't be someone constantly coming back in and taking stuff out. It'll just be one continuous flowing thing. So I think I'll enjoy the movie a lot better, but I'm really sad I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to, because it just sounded like something I would love, and I just didn't. So, yeah. That was annoying. The next book I read was Incan Bone by Rachel King. This was another buddy read with Kristen. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. It was really good. I wrote a little review. Literally all it says is, literally all it says is, I'm dead inside. Because I don't have the sequels, because there's like 2 other books that have come out so far. I don't have them. I don't have money to buy them. And I can't really buy books right now because it's just more books to pack, and I already have like 9 boxes packed that are full of books. And it's, yeah. And that's not even all of them. There's still more over here to be packed. Anyway. So yeah. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. And it was definitely, like, I knew I was going to enjoy it. I didn't know I was going to love it as much as I did. But damn. So many twists and turns, so many things that went crazy. It was fantastic. The next book I read was The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. This was such a good book. Like, so good. I gave it a 5 out of 5. It was fantastic, and I'm just so happy to have read it. Monty, I relate to him so hard because, like, he is so dramatic, and I am so dramatic. Like, some of the stuff he said, I was like, I have legit said this at one point or another. Like, it's just, it was so fantastic. It was so great. And I just loved all the adventures. I loved the pirates. I love Monty and Percy, and they're so perfect together. I just want them to be together and be happy forever. And yeah, that's all. I'm gonna shut up now. I just, like, found out some cool news because I'm on Goodreads showing you guys this, and I went to the thing. There's gonna be another book to this, and it's called The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, a sequel to The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, narrated by Felicity and featuring travel, pirates, and a science girl gang. I am so ready for it, and I feel like, okay, did anybody else get this when they were reading The Gentleman's Guide? Because I think that Felicity is asexual, because there's a point where she, like, is trying to coerce this guy into telling information by, like, making out with him or whatever. And then her and Monty are talking about it a little bit later on. And she was saying, you know, I'm so glad that's over. Like, I don't think I was doing very well. And he's like, oh, no, you were doing great from what I could see. And she was just like, yeah, I don't think I really prefer that way of persuasion. And just kind of like, I don't know, you'd have to actually, I can't explain it into words, and I don't have the book because it's packed up to actually turn to the page I'm talking about, because I'm pretty sure I tabbed it, but just, it just kind of reminded me of, like, a little bit of in Tash Hart's Tolstoy, like how she explained some things. It sounded a lot like what Felicity was saying, so that's why I'm kind of going there. So I think that could be a thing, but I'm not sure. Okay, anyway, but I'm just saying that would be super cool if that's a thing, because that would, like, anyway, I'm really excited about the Felicity novel. It's not coming till 2018. Kill me now, but I'm so excited. Then the last book I read this month was Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. Zappia? I don't know. I gave it a 5 out of 5. You guys, okay. I have never related to a character so much other than when I read Fangirl. Like, I related to Kath so much. Like, Kath literally encapsulated what I felt, and that's exactly what Eliza did as well. Just how much she really loves Monstrous Sea, and she loves creating it, and she loves, you know, doing all those things, but she doesn't necessarily want, you know, she wants to keep her anonymity, because she doesn't want people, like, you know, blowing her up and freaking her out and all this stuff, and just how much she could love that one thing so much, and how she was, like, bullied at school. Like, I was really bullied when I was in school, and I had the same kind of coping that she had with it. I threw myself into the stuff that I did at home and those types of things, and I also, she would wear, like, baggy clothes and stuff, and, like, dark clothes, and, like, try to just, like, blend in and be invisible so that hopefully the people would leave her alone and not mess with her, and I had the same idea, and I did the same thing. So I just really related with her character and her experiences, and, I mean, obviously not the whole, I created Monster Sea and I was, like, famous or anything, nothing like that, like, but just, like, how, you know, how introverted she was, and how she has anxiety, and how she was bullied, and her way of coping with the bullying. Like, all that is so much like my experience as well, so I just really related to her character, and I really, really love her so much. It was such a good book, and I'm just so happy. I'm so happy that I read it. Everybody should go read that book, because it's so fucking fantastic. And if you were ever, like, if you've ever been a really big fan of something, or if you've ever been bullied, or if you have anxiety, anything like that, you're going to relate to Eliza extremely, extremely well. And even Wallace, which is like the love interest, like I also related to him because he writes fan fiction. I write fan fiction, and just how passionate he was, I was just like, me as fuck, like with like Harry Potter. So yeah, I related to him a lot. I related to Eliza a lot more though, but I loved it, and I love them, and I'm just so happy that I read it. Oh yeah, and like Eliza, she likes to be alone a lot. That's how I was. Like, I loved to be alone. I still love to be alone. Like, I like to be with Seth, but other than that, I love to be alone. Like, I don't, like her, I'd rather stay at the house and like read or something rather than like go out with people, like 9 times out of 10. So, yeah. Anyway, but that's my July wrap-up. I am so sorry this video is so long, and I literally didn't have any books to actually pick up and show you guys. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I will have books to show you in August, I promise. Not all of them, because, like I said, I'm probably going to be reading library books right now, but I will read books I own, and I will have them unpacked, and I'll actually be able to show those to you when I do my next wrap-up in a month. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and then again, I'm really sorry it's so long and there's no books to show. I'm sorry. Okay. Anyway, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll talk to you